Hi Year 5. I'm going to try and take you through week 4 of English this week. So I'm going to do a video for each day. So this is for day 1. It's been really lovely catching up with all of you this week. And I think the biggest feedback we've had is that some of you are finding English a little bit tricky. So my advice is try and do what you can. But if there are parts that you get stuck, 2 options. Either contact us and we'll try and help you where we can, or just stop, leave it there, okay, and you've done your best, okay? So I do think that some of the activities are quite long, okay? So some of you might be able to work through all of it for each day, and some of you might not need to. Some of you might just do a little bit, but that's enough for the day, okay? So just do what you can. Don't feel rushed to get all of it finished. So I'm going to take you through day 1, okay? There is quite a few activities to do, but see how long it takes you. You don't need to work through all of it, okay? So kind of think of it like the lessons that we would do, and where you'd have extra challenges and then you'd have another challenge after that, okay? That's kind of how this works. So if you only manage to do challenge 1 and 2, then that's fine. That's enough for the day, okay? So all you need to do for day 1 is read through the poem called Superheroes I Could Have Been. So I'm going to read through that for you in a moment. And then we're going to learn about relative clauses. So we've done this before this year. And I think relative clauses is, if you think back, it's something that you will remember as soon as we go back over it. It is really simple, okay? So it just adds more information into a sentence for you. It is simple, okay? And then all you're going to do is you're going to have a look through a passage and try and find some relative clauses. And then if you get round to it, then you can illustrate one of the superheroes, which means you can draw one of them, okay? And then there is some more activities at the bottom if you finish that quite quickly, okay? So I'm going to read through the poem and then I'm going to explain what a relative clause is. After accidentally rescuing planet Earth, I was offered the chance to become a superhero. Unfortunately, all the best positions had gone. This was what was left. Liquid refreshment machine repairman, a lifesaver on a hot day. Mosquito man, keeps insects at bay. Salting icy roads man, saving skidding lorries and cars. Confectionery dispenser unit man, saving melting chocolate bars. Tadpole man, rescuing frogs from logs. Stick insect man, rescuing stick insects from frogs. 10 pence down the back of the sofa men, where only the bravest superheroes go. And of course, Supergran, but I don't somehow think so. I could have been Captain Decisive, but I couldn't make up my mind. I could have been Captain King of the Hill, but I didn't feel so inclined. I could have been Captain Upholsterer, but I'd never have recovered. I could have been Captain Apathy, but I couldn't be bothered. Okay, so it is quite a funny poem. It's actually really nice. If you read back through it and actually look at every line, it is quite a funny poem. So if you scroll down, you'll see there are some revision cards about relative clauses, okay? So there are some examples there for you. So the first activity you're going to do is you are going to highlight or try and find the relative pronouns and the relative clauses, okay? So there has been some that have been done for you as well, but I'm just going to remind you what a relative clause and a relative pronoun actually is. So a relative clause is just something that gives more information to a noun. So the example that we've got is bumblebee, okay? That's our noun. So if we've got the sentence, bumblebee is shrunk to insect-like size, that is our sentence. What we're going to do to add in a relative clause is we're going to break the sentence apart and then add in a little bit more information about bumblebee, okay? So instead, we might have bumblebee, whose suit allows her to fly, is shrunk to insect-like size, okay? Or we could have bumblebee, who can unleash electric strings, is shrunk to insect-like size. Or we could have bumblebee, who fires sonic force blasts, is shrunk to insect-like size. So you're just adding something in that gives more information about the noun. Now, if you have a look on these slides, you'd notice that there is always a word that we do start relative clause with. And it could be who, which, where, when, whose, or that. Those are your relative pronouns, okay? They're what you're starting it with. So when you're looking for them in the passage, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the relative pronouns and the relative clauses, okay? So the first one's been done for you, and then you're going to have a look through the next paragraph, which is about Batman, and then you're going to have a look for the relative clauses and the relative pronouns. Okay, so after you've done that, you're going to move on to Superheroes 2, which is the second passage that you need to, activity that you need to do. So all you need to do is add a relative clause to each of the sentences. So you've got a beginning part of the sentence, okay, they remind you of all the relative pronouns, and then you just need to add a relative clause to that sentence. So you can do that in the book that we've given you or on a piece of paper, okay, or you can say them out loud, okay, but have a go at doing your own relative clause. Then when you move down, you need to embed a relative clause in the following sentences. So similar to what we did in the examples about Bumblebee, you need to try and embed one in the sentence, okay? So I think you're given actually ones that you can try and embed. You're given the examples that you need to put into the sentences, okay? And then when you move down again, you've got Superheroes 3, which is the last activity, where you can make up your own relative clause to embed into the sentences, okay? If you do finish that, and you finish that really quickly, then you can move down and you can make up your own poem maybe, or you can make up your own illustration for the poem that you've got. So you could think of your own superhero and you can label them, show their powers, okay? So that's only if you finish that off. When you scroll down even further, you've got all the answers of the relative clauses, okay? So have a look at those. So that is day one, okay? So that's what you need to work through. Again, if you do get stuck, give us a message, okay? But they are things that we've covered before, so just try your best to think back to when we've done it, okay? Right, the next video is going to be on day 2, so wait until you finish this one first.